This is Aspen Public Radio's Nonprofit in the Spotlight. I'm Cornelia Carpenter. Spellbinders is in the spotlight this month and will be discussing the power of stories and connecting generations through storytelling. Amy Gray is a 5th grade teacher at Aspen Middle School, and every month her class is visited by a special guest, Adelaide Waters. Waters is a volunteer storyteller for Spellbinders, and every month she sits down with the students and shares a story. Gray explains the relationship between her classroom and the organization.
I got an email years ago from Sandy Rothman, who was a Spellbinder storyteller, and she started coming in, and she was quite a character and told really entertaining stories and really worked hard to make sure it was sort of aligned with our curriculum. So if we were talking about the human body and science, she would tell stories about the human body, and it kind of evolved from there. And a couple years later, Adelaide started coming in, and she did the same thing, kind of talking about different focuses that we were working on, say in social studies, if we were working on colonial America, trying to tie in stories that would be engaging so that the kids would learn about the context, but it would be through a narrative story versus textbook expository reading.
Spellbinders is more than a tool to advance the curriculum. Gray describes the less obvious impact of storytellers in the classroom.
They love it. They really love it. And there's a lot of kind of interesting fallout from it. Adelaide has a beautiful story. I believe it's a Chinese folktale about Ma Lian, who has a magic paintbrush. And one of the students in my class, we were actually working on narrative writing. And she was thinking about the story she wanted to write. And she asked me, would it be okay if I used Addie's story as a model for my story, or as kind of a mentor text? So the kids really think about the stories that they're being told and process them. And it's really amazing to see the engagement when Addie is there telling the stories. And you'd think that there'd be side conversations, they might be rolling around on the floor, but they sit and they listen. I mean, you could hear a pin drop in the classroom. They're kind of on the edge of their seats. This is pure enjoyment, and they get to sit and listen to the full arc of a story, beginning, middle, end. They just really, really enjoy it and look forward to it.
Spellbinders Executive Director Catherine Scales Johnson shed some light on the neuroscience behind oral storytelling and why developing minds benefit from Spellbinders in the classroom.
So it's amazing what advances neuroscience have shown. When someone is telling a story as opposed to reading a story, the brain waves of the listener actually matches up with the brain waves of the teller, and a dopamine release happens. And our storytellers, they don't memorize stories. They memorize the bones and the outline, and just like in a live music performance, each of our tellers really feeds on the information the audience is getting back to them and co-creates the story in the moment. So it is a really close, intimate human experience that's not separated by a book. It's direct, human to human, eye to eye, and heart to heart.
Amy Gray confirms Catherine Scales Johnson's theories with her own observations.
I think the students really do respond to the physical component of the storytelling. There's one story Adelaide tells where it's a first-person narrative, and she's running a race, and Adelaide often kind of wears more of a workout-style outfit, and she'll, kind of pump her arms, and it's kind of like the kids are starting to pump their arms and along with her. You can tell that they really are visualizing and, engaging with the story, and they're there with her. They're not just kind of passively listening. They're actively listening.
Scales Johnson ends by mentioning the long and important history of storytelling.
Storytelling is how we explain the human condition. It's how humans make sense of the world. The human brain research is now showing evolved with storytelling, and is how the human brain automatically processes all information. So when we tell stories, we connect with our current community, but we also connect with all through humanity throughout time, knowing that all people have struggled. And by passing on stories, we really let children know that the troubles that they're experiencing, the challenges that they're wrestling with, have been successfully wrestled with and gotten past by generations and generations and generations before them.
To find out more about Spellbinders and how you can get involved, check out aspenpublicradio.org, where you can also find out more about how your organization can be featured on the Nonprofit in the Spotlight.